Hi. I was presented with an interesting decision to have to make when I decided an embarrassingly long amount of time ago that I was going to do a Twilight Saga in makeup looks kind of series, because I'd had the Glamlight Breaking Dawn Team Edward palette in my possession since last year and hadn't dipped into it yet. It was sitting in my shame pile. And then after ColourPop released their Eclipse collection, they did do like a bundle deal where you could get all three of their Twilight palettes for like a discounted price, or at least cheaper than if you got each of the palettes individually or whatever. So then I had all four of these sitting here for a while. I was like, at some point I'll do a Twilight Saga makeup series and that'll be fun. But part of what I wasn't sure how many videos to do, because yes, there are 4 books, but also 5 movies. So I was going back and forth for a bit while I was putting off doing this series anyway, on whether I should do 4 or 5 looks. And then it occurred to me we have a happy medium option. Because I have been wanting to start doing palette bingos on this channel for a minute. I've been wanting to include them in the content cycle here on my channel. So I thought, well, then yes, I will do 5 looks. 1 look with each of the palettes, and then a 5th look that combines the 4 of them together. That's right, boys and girls. Twilight palette bingo. Is it a little unhinged that my first palette bingo is Twilight themed? Yeah, sure. But does it also make perfect sense, actually? Yes. Yes, absolutely it does. If you are unfamiliar with the concept of palette bingo, which I kind of doubt if you're here, but I'll give you my understanding of it. The concept of palette bingo, more or less, is that you are creating a makeup look with up to 5 or so, it doesn't ultimately matter the number of shades, randomly generated shades to create a makeup look. It could be 5 shades out of the same palette, it could be a shade or 2 out of multiple palettes. Maybe they're just multiple palettes from the same brand. Maybe they're multiple palettes with the same theme. Maybe they're just multiple palettes that you think will work well together and look cool together, and you're gonna randomly select the shades from that to create a complete eyeshadow look. How do we randomly select the shades that will go in each look? How do we randomly select the shades from each palette? You're probably wondering. With a random number generator. Da-da-da-da. Each of these palettes is a 15 pan palette. So we're gonna set it minimum of 1, maximum of 15, and then with each palette we're gonna generate like that, and whichever, did it even do it? There we go. That part is gonna be tricky to film, but whatever. So whichever eyeshadow pan corresponds to the number it generates, that's the eyeshadow from that palette that I have to use in the look. We have kind of an insane variety of tones between these 4 palettes, so I think we're gonna wind up with something pretty interesting no matter what, but potentially also a little fucking whack, but I'm gonna do my best. I'm also kind of like, bingo has 5 letters, so I feel like I need to choose 5 shades. So what I think I'll do is I'll pick 1 from each of the palettes, and then what I'll probably do for a 5th shade, if I feel like we need it, I might be happy with the 4 that we select and just be like, let's not tempt fate. But I feel like I'm gonna want to pick a 5th shade, and when I do that, I'll probably set the number generator to 1 through 60. And, you know, the same logic applies. This is gonna be fun. Yeah, I've been wanting to do palette bingos for a while. I don't know for sure who the originator of the palette bingo concept is. I did a little bit of research. Lots of creators have done this style of video over the years. I think we credit Emily Noel for creating the palette bingo concept. I know that there's one from her that she uploaded like 10 years ago, and I do think that's the earliest one on YouTube. I think that's where this whole thing kind of sprouted from. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong about that, if you know for sure who came up with palette bingo or like what the deal is, feel free to correct me in the comments down below. I want to give credit where credit is due. But it's just been a thing for the last like decade that has continually evolved, and now so many creators do it that it's just kind of become like a general little fun video concept, particularly in the indie beauty space. I also know, even though I've been planning to do Twilight palette bingo for such a stupidly long time, I'm not the first person to do a Twilight palette bingo. Betty Jean, beat me to it. Fairly recently she did a Twilight palette bingo. And she actually also does palette bingos pretty regularly, so if you like this style of content, you should definitely be subscribed to her and be watching her. And again, she did recently do a Twilight palette bingo. I'll be sure to link that video in the description box down below so you can check it out as well. Without further ado, because it is starting to get warm in this room and I am going to need to pop my AC on soon, let's select our shades. Okay, we have our minimum and maximum set, 1 through 15. We're starting with the Twilight palette. We'll just go in order. So for a refresher, here's what we're working with. Very, very cool toned. Let's see what we wind up with. 13. Ooh, we have our first shimmer. We got the shade Irresistible, which was actually one of the shades I was going back and forth between. I was going back and forth between this one and Immortal, which is the one I wound up using when I did my Twilight look. So it's kind of cool that we landed on that one, actually. I'm going to put our color story together on the back of my hand, like so. Ooh. Ooh, that's pretty. Hell yeah, brother. Strong start. Strong start. We are dipping into the New Moon palette next though, and that is like such a severe departure in terms of tone, like from the other 3 palettes that we've got here. Like it's so much warmer and very, very mustard. Very mustard. So let's see what happens. Also, I realized when I was editing the New Moon video, I didn't show you guys this on the inside of the cover. I did it with all the other palettes, but not the New Moon one. I was forgetting shit. In all these fucking videos, I was forgetting at least one thing. Whatever. Alright. Going again. 14. Okay. That's a little weird. Are you actually working, out of curiosity? Okay, you seem to be. That lands us on another shimmer. That one. Soulless Monster. Okay. If nothing else, these 2 shimmers might look really pretty together. Okay. Okay, Eclipse. This is easily my favorite color story of the 4 palettes. This is such a me color story. Very happy with that. Let's see what we wind up with. As long as it's not the multi-chrome in the middle, I think I'll be fine. This is my favorite color story of the 4, but that multi-chrome shade in the center, that's a bullshit eyeshadow. Sorry. It's giving me nothing. Anyway, let's see what happens. 13. I swear to God, it's just, this doesn't feel random. This feels like you're jumping between the same things. Let me see. Okay, it seemed to actually mean 13, which lands us with another shimmer. It is the red shimmer though, which I'm happy about. This is the red shimmer that I used on the inner corner of my eyes when I did the Eclipse look, and it is a nice kind of satiny red shimmer. Okay. This is going really interestingly so far. Can I get a singular matte shade? Would that be okay with everybody? My creasy, oily eyelids are fucking quaking right now at the concept of having to do an all shimmer eye. And finally, we have the Breaking Dawn Part 1 Team Edward palette. God, it's such a mouthful. Again, 1 through 15. Here's our color story. Literally any matte shadow will do. Let's see what happens. 1. It's it's a shimmer. It's a silver shimmer. Is that. Okay. I like the crescent moon. I'm gonna swatch it next to the twilight one. Ooh, it's got a really interesting... Oh, it's not just a silver though. It's like, it's got a deep... That's a beautiful shimmer. That's a pretty shimmer. Okay. So I am gonna go ahead and select a 5th shade. We're gonna change the maximum to 60. So that means 1 through 15, 16 through 30, 31 through 45, 46 through 60. Okay, let's see what happens. God, I'm scared. If it's another shimmer, I'm gonna lose it. 54. It's a shimmer. How even the fuck? We got the shade Sparkle, which is like a black. More like a black and purple. No, it's a black. No, it's a black, but it does have a lot of purple sparkle in it. Okay. I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. I do not know what the fuck to do with that. Okay. Huh. Okay, I have some thinking to do. I'm very nervous about that, but we're gonna do our best. Now that I have an idea of what colors are going to be on the eyes, I can pick out the base makeup and the lip combo that are going to accompany. So I have some time to think on what I'm gonna do with this while I'm doing that. I feel a little disrespected. But if this is what's happening, this is what's happening. Okay, let's move along. I will go pick out all of my other products, and then I'm gonna do the actual portion of the video where I apply the eye look and everything, and no talking, just makeup style. I'm not gonna like talk through what I'm doing. I'm just gonna do it. Speed through it a little bit. There'll be music playing. We're just gonna vibe and hang out. And then after I have the look all put together, we will come back and I will talk to you, and we will have I will give you my thoughts on the experience overall. Huh. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this. It'll be fine. Okay. This is where we wound up. I basically did the absolute least with the rest of my makeup, because obviously I'm not really interested in keeping this on. But here we are. I did a two-toned eye look, basically, because I got done with this eye, and then I was like, I wonder how it might have looked if I switched the configuration, like if the cooler tones were on the lid and the warmer tones on the lower lash line. So I did that. I do think overall I like this eye better. But this one's also, like, fine, considering what we were working with. So, I feel very Euphoria right now. Like, kind of like what you would end up with if you were trying to do Euphoria-style makeup while you were drunk. If you'd already been pre-gaming for the night out and you were doing your makeup while you were doing that, I feel like that's where we ended up. So, I mean, it's wearable. I'm fine with it in either case. But of all the ways I guess I should have seen this coming. I should have known, yes, obviously, an all shimmer eye is totally a possibility. But with the number of shades we had to pick from, I thought for sure we'd get at least one matte. Of all the ways I was expecting Twilight Palette Bingo to go, I was not fully mentally prepared for an all shimmer eye. But somehow it's strangely fitting. Anyway, let me pop you back out there. There's our color palette, and there's how it played on each eye. You know what? We persevered, and that's all that matters. This was fun. I'll definitely keep doing palette bingos in the future. I feel like I got kind of thrown into the deep end with this one, so now it's like any palette bingo I approach going forward, I already know the worst has happened for me personally, so I don't really have to be worried about what I draw in future palette bingos. So that's nice. I got that going for me, which is good. Anyway, that was the epic conclusion of our Twilight Saga series. This was fun. This was a fun series. I'll go over my more like in-depth thoughts on each of these palettes at a later date. That's not really the point of this video. The Glamlight one isn't even available anymore. I'm sure at some point they might restock it because they do that sometimes. But it seems like for the time being their Breaking Dawn collection is not available, but all the ColourPop ones are. So like my thoughts on this particular palette, this specific one, don't necessarily matter, but if you were looking into checking out Glamlight eyeshadows at some point, you might want to hear them, so tune back in for probably my next favorites video, where we'll talk about that. Let's rank the looks, because that sounds like fun. If I were to rank them, you leave your ranking down in the comments down below of these 5 makeup looks we've done with these 4 palettes. Technically 6, because this is a two-toned eye. I gave you 2 eyeshadow looks in one with this palette bingo, okay? Give me my flowers. If I were to rank the looks, this one would obviously be dead last. It's in last place. I probably shouldn't even bother ranking it, but it's in last place. As for the 4 main looks, like the ones I did for each palette, I actually wound up really liking all 4 of them. I was really happy with the way that they turned out. So I have to be as objective as possible with my ranking. I think, honestly, Twilight look is at the bottom, only because in my mind it's the least cohesive one. I actually really like the eye look I did with this one. I was really impressed with the quality of the eyeshadows in this palette. Again, we'll get into that more another time. The eye look, yes, but the overall look itself, probably last place, particularly because the lip was way darker than I wanted it to be. I left the lip stain on for too long, so that is my fault. But, yeah, it's a fun look, it's just not the most cohesive look. Shockingly, I'm ranking New Moon look above Twilight look, which surprises me. Really surprises me. I kind of assumed, based on color story alone, this was going to be my least favorite look, but it wound up being a very cohesive, really beautiful look. The eye look itself was not better than the Twilight eye look, so I should probably shift my ranking just based on that, but again, I'm thinking overall, right? I actually was having a really hard time achieving a wing when I did my winged look with this palette, but overall it wound up coming together fine. I really like the lip combo I did with that look, and my skin looks fucking amazing in the New Moon video. With the New Moon look, my base makeup is immaculate. Easily my favorite base that I did in the whole series. Eclipse is my personal favorite. Eclipse should be at the top of the ranking, but it was kind of a long walk to get to the final stage that we were at, because I did try just using the multi-chrome shadow on the lid and did not like it, and then had to layer another shimmer shadow on top. Which made the whole thing a bit more messy looking, and that kind of annoyed me. Also, the blush that I did with that look is a bit brighter than I was initially going for. It's not my favorite blush pairing. The lip combo, though, easily my favorite lip combo of the four main looks. That's my favorite lip combo that I did. Will be recreating it incessantly. Really love. But I did feel the hottest in the Eclipse look. However, top of the ranking goes to this guy, which is really ironic because the Glamlight, between the two formulas, between Glamlight and ColourPop, Glamlight is the one that I enjoy working with less. Again, we'll get into it at a later date. We're gonna get into it. It's not really the point of this video. I'm just saying, I am pleasantly surprised that the Breaking Dawn look is the top ranking look. There are a lot of factors that went into that. I really took my time with that look, because it was supposed to be like a wedding makeup look, not necessarily a bridal makeup look. It was initially going to be like a celestial gothic bridal makeup look, because I thought that would be cute. And you could still do it as a bridal makeup look, but for the most part, it was just like, if you were going to a vampire wedding, regardless of what your role in the wedding, if you're just a guest or part of the bridal party or whatever, you're at the vampire wedding, so you should probably serve cunt. That was the thesis for that. That was the prompt for that makeup look, and I think I achieved that prompt, so I was really happy with it. And overall, I just think it's the most cohesive, most well-rounded of the four, in my opinion. So objectively, Breaking Dawn Part 1 wins in the looks department. But again, I really loved all four of those looks that I did. I really genuinely did. So there you go. Twilight Saga is finished. First palette bingo ever achieved. And a time was had. And now I'm ready to wash my face and then move on. It's warm in here. It is very, like, Euphoria wannabe. Donnie Davy, I am not. Oh god, my hair is making me fucking insane. My hair is making me crazy. Anyway, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for taking some time out of your day to hang out with me and put up with this nonsense. It was very cool of you. I hope you had fun. If you haven't seen the other 4 videos where I do my individual looks with each of these palettes, they will be linked. If they didn't pop up in a title card at some point throughout the video, depending on what you're watching, if you open up the description box and scroll down to the bottom, they'll all be linked down there. Definitely check those out. Because again, I did really like all 4 of the looks. So you might too, at least more than this. I hope. All shimmers. My brain is boggled. I was so flabbergasted by that. I cannot believe that's the way it fucking wound up. Be sure to like and subscribe for more stupid shit like this and other such nonsense. We do have fun here. I hope that you have an awesome rest of your day. I hope that you and your loved ones are doing well and you guys are all staying safe and healthy out there. And not listening to all the fear-mongering about the hantavirus. Don't worry about the hantavirus. Don't worry about the hantavirus. No. Be kind to others. Be good to yourselves. And vice versa. And I'll see you back here for the next one very, very soon. I actually have a very, very fun 5 looks, 1 palette incoming. That's the next series that I'm working on. I'm literally just waiting for the palette to be delivered to my house. So yeah, definitely subscribe and all that good stuff so you can tune back in for that and watch that as that comes out. If you don't know what my 5 looks, 1 palette series is pretty self-explanatory, but there is also a playlist with the 2 previous installments to help you out with that. Definitely check that out. I will see you guys back here for the next one very, very soon. Later. Of course, for my first palette bingo, I have to do all shimmers. Of course. Oh, come on. Oh. Oh. Okay. This is low-key a nightmare scenario. But it's okay. Oh my fucking god. Just to make things extra fun, I'm also going to test out a new eyeshadow primer at the same time. This being all shimmer actually kind of works in my favor in that way, because I feel like this consistency is going to be good as a shimmer primer. It's all fun and games until you've got a bit to keep up with, and now you're just sitting in your room doing your makeup while fucking Breaking Dawn Part 2 plays on the TV. Hee hee hoo hoo. I'm gonna look like a legitimate insane person by the time this is done. And then, okay. So, okay. So then, we'll do our 2 silvery shades. I just stuck my thumb in one of them, motherfucker, shit. It is like that. Oh shit. Oh god. It's just awful. It's just really awful. Like, what? I'm gonna have so much eyeshadow on my leggings by the end of this, too. They're gonna look so pretty. Have you ever been gifted a fuck shack by your in-laws? Because Bella Swan has. Is this gonna give me a fair estimation in any way about the performance of this eyeshadow primer? No. No, it's not. Ah! I just keep almost dropping fucking everything, dude. Uh-oh, they're fucking in the fuck shack. As I'm doing this, they are fucking in their fuck shack. I'm just in a bad head. I was not motivated to do this video. I was actually really proud of myself for getting all ready and sitting down to film it, and then this is what happened. And then this is what happened. But it's fine. Everything is fine.